Today is Tuesday, January 11, 2011. I'm at the home of Mr. Curtis. He is a person. Hey, you there?
Come in.
Okay. Yeah, this is the whistleblower, the federal whistleblower. Okay. All right. Well. What have we got here?
Oh, Drice, you finally made it around here, huh?
Well, I had to. Oh, you got Obama on the brain?
Yeah, trying to, stay informed, want to know what's going on.
All right. So what's happening? Nice place you got here.
Oh, thanks.
Got the New York skyline. Go ahead. Bang. That's what I'm talking about. Ooh. Whoa. We getting deep here. What's this?
Oh, just
Whoa.
part of history.
Whoa.
Part of history.
Part of history. You go ahead, brother. You go
It's
ahead.
sad, but it's part of history.
Part of history. So this is the big Watusi Mandingo mixed super field Negro.
Yes.
All right. Well, I put that whole skit together, and I finally see what it's about. That's what I'm talking
One
about.
of your veterans drew that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
One brother from Haiti did this?
Yes.
Outstanding. Nice place. Well, we can see you're not one of the impoverished, downtrodden, who's like one of these guys right here.
Oh, no.
See?
No.
That's Martin Luther King. That's Malcolm X, Elijah Muhammad, Frederick Douglass, all right here. And then this brother right here is what? Bang! Got the chains on his brain when these guys do not. Those guys are out there, and this guy is not. And that slave castle's door is busted and the key's right there, and he still ain't walking away from that.
Scared to leave.
Damn! Scared to leave. And that's my guy right here. That's my guy right here, Malcolm X. That's him right here. Well, let me see what else we got here. But, oh my, this is the one.
Yeah. That's the one you were asking me about. If that story was true about it? Yes, that's it.
That's what you had given me a copy of this, and I took it to the congressman's office.
Yes.
And you met with Ida Smith. I was there. I was an eyewitness. Bang, we're going to have to send this to Mr. Juan Cuba at the White House.
Sure.
Okay, and I've got a letter from the Justice Department, and I've been trying to show people, what exactly, and people of authority, because the newspapers they don't want to print my story no more about the redlining scheme that I took to the congressman's office, and they did all kinds of things, calling me crazy, defamed me. The VA gave me a whole bunch of medication, which in fact I didn't need as a chemical restraint. So I got to do what I got to do, but I did speak to Mr. Juan Cuba, and it's time for me to now, and the last time I spoke to him was about getting those books to him.
Okay.
And now those books have disappeared at the congressman's office.
Wow.
So we can't actually send him this. But what I wanted to do right now was if you could please take me back to what happened, for you have taken these pictures, hold this for me, of this hangsman's noose. That was when, this was in the...
This was found, it was in the locker room at the VA.
The Veterans Administration what?
St. Albans, New York.
St. Albans, New York, Veterans Administration, motor pool locker room?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And how long was this hanging there?
I don't know. I walked in January 25th, 2008, and I saw it. But
Now, January 25th, 2008, and that's when you first saw that.
Correct.
And it stayed there for how long?
No, they took it down immediately after that. After the police were notified.
Oh, so you called the police after that. There was a police report.
Yes, correct.
The police never called the press on this.
No.
When you took it to the congressman's office, did they call the press? What happened when you went to Ida M. Smith after I turned you over to her?
She spoke to me a few times about it, but nothing amounted out of it. I didn't get any feedback. I didn't get any change. And they told me that the federal government says it's legal to hang them. They said it's not.
Ida Smith told you, that the federal government said it's legal to put a hangman's
They
noose?
said that they're not illegal, but a noose is not against the law by the federal government. But a swastika is considered a felony hate crime, where a noose is not considered a hate crime.
And Ida M. Smith told you this.
Yeah, in the discussion, she was like, there was nothing she could do about it. Because
Okay. And are you aware that she ever contacted anybody at the Veterans Administration?
I believe she spoke to the union. Outside of that, I don't think it went much.
And then what happened to you?
Nothing. They offered to transfer me to Brooklyn, Manhattan, or Staten Island.
In other words, get you out of the St. Albans VA.
Yes.
Did they talk to you about who put that there? Did anybody ever ask you who put that hangman's noose in the locker room at the Brooklyn VA? I mean, at the St. Albans VA on January 25th, 2008.
No. No.
Do you know who did it?
I don't know who did it, but I know whose coat rack it was hung on. I found it was hanging on one of my coworkers.
What was the name of the person's coat
Rack it was hanging on?
Yes.
Frank Castellano.
Frank Castellano.
Correct.
What happened to Mr. Frank Castellano after you reported this?
Actually, he got a promotion from work leader to supervisor, and they wanted me to work under him after that. And when I told them that they were adding insult to injury, they told me when I told them I didn't want to work under his supervision after the incident,
Yes.
they told me that they can transfer me to Brooklyn, Staten Island, or Manhattan, which I refused to go because I like St. Albans. I've been there 20 years, and I feel that I should not be transferred.
Now, were there other instances with Mr. Castellano or other Caucasian gentlemen at the Brooklyn VA Hospital motor pool that would lead you to think that there is an embedded racist environment in that motor pool?
Yes, I would think so. because-
Elaborate,
yeah.
please.
Well, a brief incident to me happened roughly about 15 years ago. I came in there as a motor pool operator, as a motor vehicle operator, and shortly after that, two Caucasians came in there, and they were made grade 8s, and I was a grade 7. And when I brought it to their attention, saying, "How come I'm a 7 and they're 8s?" They told me when I get an ACDL license, they'll make me a grade 8. Immediately, within 2 to 3 seconds, I reached in my pocket, handed them a Class A CDL license. And they kept promising me to give me the grade, and they never did. So at the time, there were 3 tractor operators, which me being one, the first one, and then the 2 Caucasians that came after me. So it was
You had more time in grade, more time in service than they did.
yes, and they were made 8s when they walked in the door.
Okay.
And I was never. Here it is, 17 years later, and I'm still a 7.
So it looked like you sound like somebody, federal government owe you some money.
Yeah, with some interest. And back
With some interest in back pay.
yeah, 17 years.
Pay a little pain and suffering, a little humiliation and degradation,
And then this is what I'm rewarded with.
and
6
bang!
months.
That's what you know Frank Castellano did it, don't you?
I would surmise that it does belong to him.
You suspect him.
Yes.
Now, tell me about the other guy who put a little hangman's noose in the hands of that female 6 months ago at the Brooklyn VA. You can tell it. You're a federal whistleblower. You should be protected. And we're sending this to the White House.
Well, another coworker of mine, I heard they had an incident too where somebody personally handed them a noose.
So a white guy handed a black woman a hangman's noose.
Yeah.
And he ended up getting fired.
Yes.
And not right now she's on leave with mental distress.
Correct.
Well, what happened to you? How come you ain't all shell-shocked?
I am shell-shocked. It's a challenge each and every day to go to work. Matter of fact, it's hard talking about it, even like right now. I want to stop talking about it right now.
There you go.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Phil Drice and Robert Huntley. We're here with 2 homeless guys, but guess what? We haven't given up. We're not freaking failures. We're people. We're humans.
Senator of Shirley Huntley, State Senator, New York State Senator Shirley Huntley. Oh, I love my mother, and 113th of a crooked cop motherfucker that ruined my life, and a stink pussy fucking bitch You know, along with that, you know, that pretty much I loved her. She knew that. And I don't see how she cannot help me at this point in my life. Now, my mother has pretty much not turned her full back on me, but has let me have it, you know, really, you know, to a sense that it's my fault that of her health condition, because I drove her into a nervous condition, and that's all bullshit. I love my mother from the bottom of my heart. I love Deputy Inspector Tommy Lawless, who died, Mommy's right-hand friend and PD, and Deputy Inspector Philip Erickson. And, you know, I have let 113th and 103 off the hook with whatever I feel.
Show them the bruises on you.
They have ruined me.
Show the bruises on you got when you went over there and your brother beat you up. This is right here. This is State Senator Huntley's son, Robert Huntley. He was beat up by his brother, who's a New York NYPD, and told not to come back home again. That's betrayal. That's treason. There's no sense for this. That's treason. But we're two homeless guys. We're buddies. And guess what? We're going to fight the fight.
I've not been homeless for the last 20 motherfucking years, where I thought I was like a white, black Jimi Hendrix, you know, where, you know, the guitar on my back and whatnot. But at this point in time, I'm 54 fucking years old. And this is bullshit.
And today's Sunday, September 26th.
Yes, it is.
And it's right now 7:40.
As far as Mayor Bloomberg is concerned, the New York Senate, the Congressional Committee is all full of shit. Because me and this man have legitimate evidence and what have you, and I have sued PD and fucking won. But this is bullshit, goddamn it. This is what the fuck it is, you know, goddamn it. And, you know, through any righteousness through God that sent his only begotten son down here to fuck with his denomination, his abomination of making this motherfucker and then turning his goddamn back on it. It's fucking bullshit. Why the hell did his only son begotten son have to come down here and fuck with this and be tortured by goddamn
before we run out of time, Robert. Now, when I gave you that fly, you saw your mother's name on it. You called her.
Yes, I did.
And then when you spoke to her and you asked her, was I the guy that supposedly put the death threat or anything crazy like that?
No, you were not. No, Ma denied that. It was not Dr. Philip Drice. It was
somebody else. I have nothing to do with anything like that.
Who had state police and a local 113th cop who held my hand one night. I was going to alcohol withdrawal. Another nice-looking balding cop. Yeah, who I talked about like dogs, that precinct. But yeah, they did ruin my fucking life, along with that stink fucking cunt hoe, Chantel Prasad Dubra. And she is full of shit, you know.
Now, when you spoke to her, she knew about this case about New York City Housing Authority and all that nonsense with me.
She knew about it. She knew about it 100%, but her aides were handling the case, at which point they did not let my mother in on what's happening.
And now she's trapped.
They intercepted this man's legitimate inter-fucking-mation through aid, you know.
You are
This is a supplemental log for Friday, March 25th, 2011. This is the continuing saga of all of the plotters against me that helped destroy my life. This segment is exclusively for Judge Maria Resos and the two other judges prior to her that I have known, just like I knew 3 chairmen of housing. I have known 3 chairmen of housing. And everybody would like to give a shout out to Miss Daniela. I think her YouTube name is Foxfly. She made a lot of wonderful suggestions. And I don't have to be such a wretched, melodramatic, think I'm an actor guy, other than just present the facts and the evidence as they are. I'm angry, I'm all of that, but that's for another time, another situation. This is about presenting the facts, recording it, in case something happens to me. This is the judgment and order of Judge Maria Resos, okay? And respondent's order to show cause to restore this proceeding to the calendar, and the motion by Stephen S. Weintraub to be removed as guardian ad litem are consolidated for determination. In rendering this decision, the court considers the respondent's order to show cause, petitioner's affirmation in opposition, respondent's reply affirmation, and petitioner's surreply only. The court acknowledges receipt and did read respondent Philip Drice's ex parte submissions. However, as they were ex parte, they cannot be considered by the court as it reaches its decision. That's what the problem is, because my guardian ad litem, Mr. Stephen Weintraub's hands were tied. This is a gentleman where I absolutely abused him, humiliated him, degraded him, blasted, crapped all over him, all over the internet in front of everybody, all the way to the White House. He filed papers against the court, to the court against me. Judge Maria Resos brought a big cop in there. I'm not violent. I don't need to do anything like that. I'm a pretty educated guy. I know what to do and what my limits are. But that shenanigan, that show, that performance that was calculated and performed did accomplish my goal. I finally got him to work for me instead of working for human resources to put me out, as you've seen in the last segment. And that's how it works. This is a war of the intellectuals against poor people who don't have an education. And it can be traced to a race-based situation because the people they're dealing with are the disenfranchised that have been apartheid on a federal reservation, which is the largest Indian reservation, the most populated Indian reservation in the United States of America, which is New York City Housing Authority, with approximately 800,000 tenants. But only 500 of them are registered, and those 300 are supposed to be in line to inherit that apartment, and it's the elimination of the administrative process that leads to the federal violations of diverting funds and Title VI violations, okay, under Civil Rights Act of 1967, which is you're doing it to black people, you're doing it to Puerto Ricans, you're doing it to the disenfranchised, you're doing it to poor people that the federal government through Congress said that they take care of. But it was through the Clinton administration, it is alleged that it was through the Clinton administration's desire to eliminate welfare that your governor was probably the premier architect who unleashed NYS, who dissolved any competent oversight, just like the regulators of the banks. It's been shown that the Democratic Party, or the Democrats, did orchestrate this big thing about this housing bubble. Okay? And they forced banks to make loans that they knew were going to fail. And then they want to blame somebody else for those bank failures and that all of that money that went down the tube. But it was designed to keep them in power. And when you're in power, you can cover things up. Okay? So this is what's happening, people. And in the SIR reply, let me show you here, where this guy says it's his, I'll read it, you'll get it in the book and online, okay? You've got NYCHA committing perjury in this document right here. This is the SIR reply. NYCHA commits perjury. Let me show you where. First of all, they said you got to be over 62 years old to be living there. And that I was the only one that was living in that apartment that was in that development. Now we find out that's not true. And when we find out that's not true, the judge want to give them exemptions. You can't go back. Okay? Here we go right here. Which is Carol Brookins. Carol Brookins was living there before she turned 62. Okay? They didn't want to count that one. Let me give you another one. We're going to get better. Barbara Davidson. Barbara Davidson is the sister of Margaret, who works for Councilman Comrie. And when it got this bad, Barbara Davidson right here, when it got this bad, they got her to move out of Shelton House. That's how big it is. Barbara Davidson's been living there for 30 years. She didn't take the buyout, just like my aunt didn't take the buyout. That's why we were still in that apartment. They want to make it senior development, but they were supposed to give you $15,000. Okay? Now, this is the big deal right here. This is Mr. James Edwards in apartment 6N. He's got a Michelle Guy who lives there. She was born in